I'm going to be talking about perinatal mental health, and that means antenatal leave, so during the pregnancy and after you've had a baby, and either anxiety or depression. I'm from Womens Health Queensland Wide. Please come and see us at our stand. It's down the back near the cafe. We're promoting a couple of our books, the Looking After You book, and going to be referring to that during the talk. So we actually might get some of those out of that little bag down there, if that's all right to hand out. And we've modified this for Indigenous mums. It's our Deadly Mums Guide to Feeling Great. And of course, go down to our stand or grab one while you're here, one of our postnatal depression booklets. And another service that we're really encouraging mums who are feeling stressed, they're not quite sure if they're just a little bit worried or depressed, give us a call on our Women's Health Information line and talk to one of our midwives about that. So grab one of our cards. All of our information has our details on it. Now today I'm going to do a bit of a quiz with you to make it a little bit interactive. So make sure you've got one of the quizzes and a pen, and we'll get going. And it's not a test, it's just to make it a little bit more interactive. But we know that motherhood is a very stressful time. You know, there aren't many jobs that you'd sign up for that you had to work 7 days a week, and the hours might be 24 hours a day. So we know it's very, very important at this time for mums to look after their mental health. It's also a very stressful time for dads if they're having to go to work and having disrupted sleep at night. That can be really tricky as well. But we know that during a woman's life, 1 in 4 women, over the course of their lifetime, no matter what age, will suffer a bout of depression. So we know that in pregnancy and after the baby's born, it's 1 in 6. So it can happen to you to get depressed at any stage in your life. And the key message that I wanted you to take home today is that asking for help is really important for a good, speedy recovery. We know that in general, people who suffer from depression, only about half of them actually seek help from their GP or a psychologist to get better, and they go on suffering. So it can sometimes be really tricky for mums to know whether they're just feeling a little bit down or stressed. And we have all these words in our vocabulary that are a little bit vague. And so hopefully today the talk will really clear up some of that for you. So let's get started on the quiz. So how many women experience depression or anxiety when they're pregnant, do you think? So that's the first one on your little quiz there. So it's actually 1 in 10, so that's quite good news, isn't it? Whilst some women will get really unwell, most will need just a little bit of help, perhaps getting out to a play group, a mother's group, and sharing stories is really helpful for pregnant mums. Oh yeah, I'm going through that too, so that can normalise your experience, and talking to health professionals as well. So the next question is, which of the following would you tell your doctor or midwife about during pregnancy? So A, excessive nausea and vomiting. B, feeling anxious about most things. C, vaginal bleeding. D, feeling very stressed. Or E, fainting. Or F, swollen ankles or fingers. And so we'd hope that you would tell your healthcare provider about all of these things. And we actually know that health professionals are now universally asking all people about their mental health during pregnancy. So don't be surprised. There's a lot of acknowledgement that this is just as important as your physical health. In fact, sometimes when people are anxious, they'll get headaches and tummy aches, and people can put that down to just a physical thing when it's actually our emotional health making us feel like that. Okay, so the next question, which of the following improves after birth? High blood pressure, diabetes that began in pregnancy, depression or anxiety? And so we know that high blood pressure resolves, and diabetes that began in pregnancy will resolve. We do know that if you have had gestational diabetes, you've got a higher chance of getting type 2 diabetes. So you should take particular care about eating a healthy diet and exercising and watching that. But we know that if you leave depression and anxiety, it won't get better on its own. So it's not good to ignore it. And as I said, the key message is asking for help earlier will speed up your recovery. And there's a lot of stigma in our society about talking about mental health. We have some pretty derogatory terms that go along with mental wellness. So shame and guilt often prohibit mums going out and asking their GP for some help. So we're all supposed to sold the story that, you know, motherhood's this wonderful experience and everyone's smiling and playing happy families, when in actual fact we know that sleep deprivation can really make all of us at any stage of life pretty stressed and tense. And so we know that new parents getting up to feed a new baby through the night, you'll be sleep deprived. So you do need to take extra special care of your mental health at this time. So look, we know there's no single cause for depression in pregnancy or after birth, but there are quite a few risk factors. Conversely, there are quite a few factors that can make you less likely. But let's have a look at some of the risk factors. So we know the lack of support from partner, family or friends. So, you know, guys, make sure you take all of your paternity leave entitlements that you've got to you. We know that, you know, someone has to earn some money, but that the government recognise the important roles that fathers play in the care of small babies. Previous history of depression or mental emotional health issues in your family. We know that there is a genetic predisposition. So if you've got a history in your family, do things proactively to keep as mentally well as you can and go and see your GP or psychologist regularly. Now we know lack of sleep, as I mentioned, they use that as a war torture. So I can't stress enough, do try and rest when the baby sleeps. Don't worry about getting up and cleaning your house. Just leave all that be and sleep as much as you can. We know that older mums and even very young mums can have a few challenges adjusting to this. Often if you have a baby late in life, you have higher expectations around what it's going to be like to be a mum that then perhaps aren't fulfilled. So we know that there are a lot of protective factors as well. So I guess they're really just the flip side. But let's go to the next question. We know that unrealistic expectations, no matter what it is in life, can make us feel disappointed, and motherhood's no different. So knowing how much time it takes to care for a baby is really important. So how many hours, for the people watching this online, how many hours in a 24-hour period will it take up to feed the baby and settle it in the first 6 weeks? Anyone in the audience want to have a guess? 12 hours, that's right, yeah. So we know that very small babies will feed every 3 hours around the clock. So that's quite a lot. And for some of you who are waking up in the middle of the night during the pregnancy, the baby will probably reflect that amount of times that it's waking up when it's born as well. So it's a really good idea to know that. Women's Health are offering some seminars for new parents around the realistic expectations of parenthood and what to expect. And the stress that can cause on your relationship, because I don't know about you, but when we're really tired in our house, we all get a bit cranky and, oh, you do it, and then pretty soon you're having a few tiffs. So working out some of these things before you're pregnant, before you have baby, and talking about that with your partner can really help. So look, there's a whole range of emotions that you're going to go through when you become a new mum. So just think back to when you started a new job. You know, when you start a new job, you have a probation period, you know, and you go for your 3-month interview and your boss says, oh yeah, you're doing really well, but you know, the feedback's this and that. So when we adjust to parenthood, really you're going through exactly the same things, but so you really need lots of support. But there's some of the feelings: tiredness, irritability, and sometimes when we get overtired, we all have trouble sleeping. And little babies do as well. Sometimes, you know, there's a whole range of experience, not feeling like you thought you would about having a baby. You know, maybe there's a lot of hype around parenthood. But what things to watch out for are loss of interest in activities that you used to find enjoyable and worrying excessively. So we know that worry is the first cousin of anxiety. And actually, we haven't placed as much emphasis around anxiety during pregnancy and for new mums as we have depression. So that's the other take-home message that I want to say today, is that if you find yourself worrying excessively, that can be the first road sign on the highway that maybe you're getting a little bit anxious, and just to have a talk to your local maternal and child health nurse, your GP or Women's Health Queensland Wide midwives on our phone line. So the next question is, if you're feeling down more often than not, how soon would you ask for help? So for those of you in the audience, that's question 6. So as I said, people sometimes think, oh, you know, everything's going okay, I wouldn't want to ask for help because of the embarrassment and guilt. But as soon as you're feeling concerned, and hopefully you'll take that away from today's talk, that it's okay to talk about your emotional health. It's as important as talking about your baby's health or your own physical health. But you might want to wait for 2 weeks. And our health information line, don't forget, is anonymous. So a lot of people find it a safe place to start to calling our staff on the phone line and having a chat. Now, if I can't convince you to do this for yourself, looking after your own mental health is really beneficial for your baby. And not only for your baby, for your child, because parents are really important role models for their children. So this slide here shows that the baby's brain at 5 days of age is only about 30% of it's developed. So 70% of the baby's brain development happens in the first 3 years, and quite a lot in the first year. So you know when you see people bouncing babies and gooing and garring and blowing bubbles and, you know, playing, you know, tickling games and round and round the mulberry bush, all of those things are really, really important stimuli to help the baby's brain develop. And we know that if a mum's feeling a bit sad and depressed, they're not going to interact with the baby and sing to it and laugh and stimulate it. So really, really important for baby's brain development. And so we know teenagers' brains still are developing. And guys, your brain finishes developing when you're 28 and girls when they're 24. So that's why guys can't rent cars in the US till they're 28. Okay, so we'll go on to the next question. Who of the following could you talk to if you're feeling stressed or having trouble coping during the pregnancy or even when the baby's born? So those in the audience, that's question 6. And the answer is all of them. Now, I would say to you, find someone that you really connect with. When you're talking about your emotional health and your mental health, there's a lot of trust there, so it's really got to be a health professional that you feel really comfortable with and confident in. So Women's Health Queensland Wide has a database of GPs, psychologists who are really interested in working with new families, so give us a call to find out those details. Okay, so the next question, which of the following helps to maintain good emotional health before and after the baby's born? So question 7, understanding what makes you feel stressed and learning ways to manage it. Identifying family and friends who can be available to support you. Eating well and doing physical activity. Keeping up hobbies, interests and friendships. Anyone want to have a go at the answer to that? And it's all of them. So that's really an important checklist. If you know there's something that stresses you, go and see a psychologist during the pregnancy. Don't wait till the baby's born because you're going to be really busy then. And having a checklist, you know, handy within your phone, on your quick dial numbers or next to the phone at home of people that can support you if things get really tough. And you will have really tough days and you need to be prepared for them, just like you would be at work if you had to call for help. You have a little checklist next to the phone too, don't you? We know that eating really good nutritious foods is very important for mums. And we know that keeping physically active, when we exercise, then I'm talking gentle exercise that's suitable for new mums. You've got a lot of relaxin hormones still floating around in your body in the first 6 months. So appropriate exercise for mums, some swimming or walking, really helps move those adrenaline hormones that really build up when you're stressed. So that's really important to do. And I think mums put the baby first and they think that's being a good mum. It's not. When we go on aeroplanes, when you drill life back down to first principles on a flight, you've probably all heard the flight attendants say, and those passengers nursing an infant, place your oxygen mask first so that you can assist your infant. Same with parenting, look after yourself first. So it's okay, and give yourself permission to keep up hobbies and interests. Don't want to bore your friends that don't have kids, do you? So while 1 in 6 women do get depressed and anxious, it means that 5 out of 6 of us will stay well. So let's now focus on what you can do. And so these things can actually be good for anyone at any age. You don't have to be a new mum. So it's just based on a social marketing principle that's from WA. Founded on really solid psychological principles. So if you do get a bit depressed and you go and see a psychologist, they'll give you these sorts of things to do as homework. Okay, so it's very simple, that's why I like it, ABC. So the A stands for ACT. Keep physically active, I've talked about that. Keep socially active, and I guess today more than ever you can keep in touch with friends on Facebook, phone calls, still important to see people face to face. And also cognitively active, so maybe learn a new skill, do some study by correspondence or online. We know that lots of mums tell us, I find motherhood isn't intellectually challenging, it's emotionally challenging, but some mums still like to keep up some intellectual stimulation, do some study while they're not in the paid workforce. Now, lots of us have lots of excuses why we don't keep physically active, and when you're a new mum, you'll put it right down the bottom of the list. So you've got to get organised, plan ahead, diarise when you're going to do it, have your shoes handy, join a group. There's lots of online walking groups. I did a Google search. There's a metropolitan walking group. Go onto Facebook and join up with that and meet other mums and have a walk and talk. But choose the activity that's right for you, one that you enjoy. Set yourself some goals. In the back of the Looking After You booklet, come down to our stall and get one if you haven't. There's a little chart there. We know that when you write down your goal, your activity goal, you're more likely to do it. And if you tell someone, you're even more likely. And if you say that you'll meet someone to go for a walk, you're even more likely to do it as well. But most importantly, have fun. Okay, the B belongs for being a participator, so belonging for health and happiness. And we humans, we're pack animals, we like feeling like we belong to something. So if you're involved in a church group or a sport group, keep that up once you have your baby and show your child that these sorts of things, belonging to these groups, is really important for them, and set themselves up to be mentally strong and confident kids as they grow up in your family. Now the C stands for commit, so committing to a cause. So, maybe you're thinking, I won't be able to do this when I've got a new baby, but you can still do little things. You might want to commit to yourself for the first 3 months, but writing thank you letters to if people give you gifts and things like that, really simple things, is still really important. So in the back of your book, your Looking After You book, maybe have a think about your activity if you and make a pledge to yourself, something that you'll keep doing once you've become a mum, and if you're already a mum and you're not doing enough, maybe write down some things that you'll start doing for yourself regularly. Okay, everyone, well, thanks for coming along to the talk. My time's up. If anyone's got any questions, please come down and see us at the Women's Health Queensland Wide stall. One of our midwifery staff is in the Midwives Lounge and happy to talk to you about this topic. That's what they're there for. So drop in and say hi to them, say you heard my talk and you've got some more questions. Okay, hope you enjoy the Baby Expo.